Here's a comparison between two cameras. My Sony Cybershot DSC HX60 and my Fujifilm Finepix XP130. Let's start with the Fujifilm Finepix XP130. This camera is waterproof to up to 65 feet of water. This camera will be used as the underwater camera for my Ibiza trip. That's if I go. When you turn on the camera, okay, let me show you the functions. You've got these zoom buttons. That can also turn on the camera. You've got delete, things like that as well. Give you a warning to make sure this battery cover is locked, because if you don't lock it, it will fall open. Here's the camera's interface. It's relatively easy to use. It's also got a timer. You can also have information on if you want. This camera was released in 2018, and it's a really nice camera. To take out the batteries, you have to turn this little dial. Before I move on, it also has a little dongle here where you can attach this strap. Which, if you're using this camera underwater, it prevents it from sinking to the bottom. To clip it in, you just pop it in. I probably won't be using this. Attaching this strap can be a bit difficult, but it does clip into place. There we go. And when this is on, it prevents it from sinking to the bottom of a pool or the ocean. To take it off, you just press. Although it can be a bit stiff. As it clips in quite tightly. Give me a moment while I get this off. Here's the information stick on this camera. Believe it or not, this camera was actually made in Japan, although the sticker said made in China. That's a lie, because look. Oh, and here's your SD card slot. Here's your battery. See that? Made in Japan. Putting the battery in is very simple. You've just got to line up the terminals and push the tab back. It's like putting the battery into a Sony Cybershot. It's also got a rubber gasket to prevent water getting in. Every time I've used this camera, no water gets in whatsoever. Same with my XP90 as well. There is your micro USB and your HDMI. And there we go. Now moving on to the Sony Cybershot DSC HX60. This is the camera I'll be using mostly. This camera is a really nice camera, but it was released in 2016. It is used. I've seen vloggers use this camera a lot, and it's a really good camera. Let's look at the interface. This camera, instead of using clicky buttons, it's got a scroll wheel, just like on the original iPods. You can disable your flash. I'm going to show the flash working actually. I'm going to show the flash working real quick. Pop out flash. Picture of this iPad here. Go. This is your menu, new user interface. On this camera, they both have dedicated buttons for taking videos. On this camera, on the Sony DSC HX60, it's on the front in a nice convenient place. Same with the XP130, but it's on the top of the camera. This camera takes really good quality images. Now by booting both of these cameras up, just from looking at them from the screen, which one do you think's got better quality? I personally think that the HX60 is slightly better quality. But they're both good cameras. Sony always has the better mic. It's hard to record on that camera. He's got to wait for it. It takes a long time to record. This camera's got the good old-fashioned zoom lens instead of a digital zoom lens on this camera. It zooms in very fast. Both of these cameras, like I said before, are fantastic cameras. And they're both pretty easy to use. Now as I was saying beforehand, the HX60 has also got an option for an external mic. And it's got a lot more functions than the XP130. Scene selection, iSweep panorama, that's all panoramas, movie mode, memory recall, manual exposure, sort of priority, aperture priority, program auto, superior auto, intelligent auto, which is the mode I use it on. Now I'm going to throw up an image that both of these cameras took. Now, I'll prove to you that the Fujifilm Finepix XP130 is in fact waterproof. Now I'm going to prove to you that this camera is in fact waterproof. So I'm going to fill up my sink here with water. And I'm going to use cold water. And I'm going to put the camera into a basin. And then we're going to fill it up. replacement battery. The camera is wet, as you can see, but it's completely fine. Let's try it off. Yep. I purchased an XP140 but found it not to be as good as this. So I went back to the XP130. The XP140 also has a horribly noisy zoom lens. This one's nice and quiet. One thing I miss about the XP140 though is that it has image stabilization. This does not. My HX60 has image stabilization but only works for videos. Yeah, that HX60 was a replacement for the HX60 was actually a replacement for the XP140 because the XP140 got sand in it and broke. This camera also had sand in it as well, but it's lasted a long time. So the XP130 is actually better than the XP140, despite that thing being able to shoot in 4K. It's going to shoot in 1080p 60. Now here's pros and cons list of both cameras. Both cameras, like I said before, are great cameras. But I feel that the image quality is better than on the Sony Cybershot HX60, despite that camera being released in 2016 on the Fujifilm Finepix XP130. It proves that not always. It proves that not all newer stuff is always better. But like I said, both are great cameras. Which one do you think was better? The Fujifilm Finepix XP130 or the Sony DSC HX60? Vote in the comments below. Both of these cameras also will be used in my IB for Ship 2022. Anyways, thanks for watching this video and bye guys for real.